Alright everybody, welcome back to the Arena Football Nation channel. I hope you're all doing well. And in this video, we're taking a look back at Week 1 in review for the National Arena League. Highly anticipated season, it turned out to be a really quick off season actually. The season's right around the corner and next thing you know we're here. But a lot of great action, some highly anticipated matchups, and some great storylines going into Week 1 of the National Arena League, as we had a full slate this past weekend of games. Starting off Saturday night, we had the Bandits traveling to the Renegades. Old guard going to one of the new expansion teams. A lot of questions about how the Bandits are going to look this year. People are pretty high on them. And they did do some really solid offseason. Did a great job loading up that roster, and then of course looking to make the trek back to that championship game and get some revenge against the Beef. So they're a team on a mission for sure. And then you got the Renegades, an expansion team where we don't know what we're going to really get out of them. You never know what exactly you're getting with expansion teams. There's always those, bumps in the road type of deal, things you get with expansion. So pretty excited to see what they had to offer. And then also on Saturday night, you had the Beef traveling to the Rougarou. Beef coming off that preseason loss. Yes, it was bad. It was not fun for Beef fans, and it was very shocking. But we know that's not going to be a normal thing for the Beef. There's a reason why they are who they are, and I'm sure they're looking to bounce back in a big way from that preseason loss and start the 2025 NAL season off with a bang. I'm sure looking to really, quell the nerves of the fans and get back to Beef football, as they travel to take on the new expansion team as well, the Rougarou. What are you going to get out of them as well? Like I said about the Renegades, you just don't know what you're getting with these teams. You got, it's the first time ever this franchise is going to have a game, and unfortunately it had to be against the defending champs, the Omaha Beef. And what a test throughout the gate, right? So that's another game on Saturday night. Then on Sunday we had the Peach State Cats going to take on the Lions. Not a actual NAL matchup, but it is along the lines of the preseason games all the other teams played. This was just for the Columbus Lions. Pretty much what we know we're going to get with this game. I don't think the Lions are going to mess around. They usually put up big numbers in their preseason games, so I expect nothing less from that. Only weird thing is according to the website, this counts as a game, an NAL game in the standings. Don't know what that's about. I have to do more research there, but that was weird. But then, game of the week for Week 1, highly anticipated. You have the Miners, who were undefeated last year, making a step up to NAL, the big leagues, and going to face off against the Colorado Spartans. And the Spartans are no slouch. I think they're going to be pretty solid this year. A team to watch out for. So are the Spartans going to give the Miners a big welcome to the NAL, or are the Miners going to pick up where they left off and show that they're just a solid franchise and dominant even in the NAL? So if you like indoor or arena football action and content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That's all we do here on this channel, is we cover all the indoor and arena football leagues. We do game coverage, news, updates, highlights, and this is the place for you. And if you like this kind of content in this video, please like the video, show me that you appreciate it, and it helps me and this channel continue to grow and get better as we go forward. Alright, let's get right into the first game. You had the Sioux City Bandits taking on the Beaumont Renegades. In this game, a lot of storylines going into it, but in the end, I think I'm just as shocked as most people, because it actually turned out to be a very good game. Beaumont really did a great job handling Sioux City. The defense actually surprised me pretty well, and the offense was there. I didn't see too much stuttering there, and it turned out to be a great game, as the Renegades, yes, you heard me right, upset the Bandits 49-46. Now, I don't know if this is just a little hiccup by the Bandits or what, or maybe they're just shell shocked I didn't expect the Renegades to come out so hot, but man, what a great game. What a storyline for the Renegades to come out and win their home opener along with their NAL 2025 season inaugural game against a pretty solid opponent in the Bandits. Some pretty good stats put into this. You had, for the Bandits, Verlin Reed, QB. He had only 1 interception, 16 attempts for 129 yards, and it was 3 touchdown passes. So he did do pretty decent. And then you had the rushing for Sioux City, Fred Bruno at wide receiver. He had 34 yards, 1 touchdown. The longest was 13 yards. That was a pretty impressive pass and catch for a total of 34. And then you had Andrew Prohaska. I apologize if I spelled that wrong or pronounced it wrong. Running back with 48 yards and 2 touchdowns with a long of 11. Verlin Reed as well made 18 yards with 1 touchdown. So pretty decent numbers for the Bandits going into this game. Not as high or dominant as we're used to seeing, but still a pretty solid showing overall. Fred Bruno doing a great job, receiving on that end with 57 yards with an average of 19 with 1 touchdown. That long of 30 was impressive as well. And then on the other end, we had the Renegades. They had their QB, Carl Robertson III, with a 800% completion percentage with 16 completions, 4 incomplete, 1 interception, with 207 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Very good job by Carl Robertson III in this game. Doing a great job leading the team. And then rushing, we had some highlights here. Obviously, Carl Robertson, 9 attempts with 28 yards, 1 touchdown. And Eric Young, running back, with 21 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a long of 7. Pretty good runs there. Receiving crew, you had Eric Young, running back, with 59 yards and a long of 23. Vincent Wilkerson, wide receiver, with 77 yards, 26-yard average, with 2 touchdowns. So great job by the Renegades in pretty solid form for their first ever game against the Bandits. Pretty impressive win. Don't expect this to settle very much well with the Bandits. I'm sure they're going to bounce back in a big way in their next game. So other takeaways is, unfortunately, there's one aspect I didn't like when the stream happened. There was no game clock. Don't know what that was about, but no game clock. That was annoying. They did have a score bug with the, obviously, team names and the scores and what quarter we were in. The field was interesting. You had a red field with black end zones. So that's cool. I like colored fields. Green's a little boring. I like how they mix it up. Teams do. Like you have the beef with the orange field. Arena was a little dark, but I thought there was decent amount of fans out there for the game. For our first ever team in a smaller market, I think they did a pretty decent. And with this win, I think the word's going to spread, and fans are just going to come out, heavier. Excited to have a winning team to come out and support. So moving on to the next game, we had the Omaha Beef traveling to the Rougarou. And this was another interesting game, as we obviously, like I said earlier, we had the Beef coming off that rough loss. Rougarou going to be, and once again, this will be their first game ever as a franchise. But things went how we probably expected they would, most people. The Beef went and just put it on the Rougarou. Those Louisiana Werewolves did not hold very much against the Cattle. Let's just put it that way. As the final score was 41 for the Beef and 18 for the Rougarou. Once again, Beef, of course, they just come in, do their thing, be dominant. They're going to bounce back, like we said. But there were some bright spots for the Rougarou as well. thought that there was pretty decent fan support. Field looked decent as well. Yeah, the logo in the midfield, the Rougarou logo. It was just a pretty solid game overall. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, the Rougarou needed to do some more work, but I mean, what more can you say when literally you go against the defending champion, one of the best teams in indoor football, right? Some stats. You had Lorenzo Brown, pretty awesome. You see Lorenzo Brown coming and playing for the Beef. He had a completion percentage of .333 with 15 attempts and 46 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And then Bryce Holiday got some action as well in the QB slot. He went 2 incomplete for 18 yards and no touchdown passes. Yards averaged at 9. Rushing, you had Jeff Mack II. He went 41 yards, averaging 4 yards with 2 touchdowns and a long of 24. That was a hell of a run, right? Lorenzo Brown, of course, he is a mobile quarterback, so he had 17 yards with 2 touchdowns. And then receiving, we had Jeff Mack II. He had 14 yards, 1 touchdown. And Troy Evans Jr. had 24 yards with 1 touchdown as well, with a long of 13. So pretty good game overall for the Beef. Like I said, this is just them, back in business, doing what they do, and they had a great game as well. So yeah, nothing much more to say there. Rougarou, I'm sure they're gonna, bandage up, go at the next game, and give it all they have. And Beef are just gonna keep on like they always do. Next game, we had the Peach State Cats. I believe they're a semi-pro team, and they are taking on the Columbus Lions. You had a pretty terrible stream. I'm not gonna lie, it was just constantly going in and out. Had a decent score bug at the bottom. Not a lot of fans there, surprisingly. Usually Columbus, they show out, but yeah, pretty self-explanatory game here. Columbus is just going to annihilate Peach State. Peach State didn't even score a single point, and Columbus ended up scoring, I think it was like 86 or something like that. So a little warm-up game for the Lions. I'm really excited to see them actually face off some good competition this season, especially some of the big, better teams in the league. So not much to say here for this game. Lions just, taking care of business, getting a little warm-up action, and I'm sure we're going to see, what they're really made of going into next week's or their next game in general. So Columbus Lions taking it home big against the Peach State Cats. And then we have our game of the week. You have the Colorado Spartans traveling to take on the Wheeling Miners. Really excited for this game as we got to see Wheeling going ahead and bounce up to the big leagues, play some better competition, see what they're really made of. Are they going to continue to stay undefeated? As we know, they're one of 3 teams coming into the season in the NAL that were undefeated last season. Or are the Spartans going to, give them that good old welcome to the NAL action, you know what I mean? So, and take it to them. So, really excited to see this game, all eyes on it. Unfortunately, with it being a Monday night game, not a lot of fans there, but I still think there was a decent amount for a Monday night. I think the Miners are just going to, continue to have success when it comes to the fan engagement and fan support. I think they run a top class, they are a top class organization. They run a really good franchise there in Wheeling. Coach Rez obviously is going to have the boys right. So really excited for this game. Probably going to be, a fantastic matchup for week 1. And you have the Colorado Spartans taking home the win, 49-44. You had a little, a few scuffles here and there as a heated matchup. A lot of pride on the line as the Miners, want to show that they belong, and the Spartans are, obviously trying to build off last season and be a contender this year in 2025. And it was a pretty great game. It was a pretty awesome game, honestly. It, had all the makings to be a great matchup. Had a lot of fireworks, high-scoring affair, and yeah, got to give it to the Colorado Spartans. They ended up coming in on the road, a very lengthy flight, obviously, and didn't have any jet lag. Did their due diligence and took it to the Miners. Miners didn't go away easy, even though they trailed significantly throughout the game, and just came up short on a comeback there against the Spartans. Spartans passing, you had a pretty solid showing with Aaron Aiken. He did really well with 39 yards, averaged 7 yards and on 9 attempts, excuse me. And then Thurlow Wilkins, he had a completion percentage of 1,000 with 1 attempt, 13 yards. Spartans rushing, you had a pretty solid showing by Aaron Aiken, of course, as he had 19 attempts with 71 yards with 6 touchdowns. Aaron Aiken, one of the better mobile quarterbacks in the league. Thurlow Wilkins, of course, he had 12 attempts with 50 yards and 1 touchdown. And receiving, you had Stephen Newbold Jr. He had 2 receptions for 9 yards. And then on the Wheeling Miners side, you had Grant Russell for the QB for the Miners. He had 1 interception, 30 attempts, or 189 yards, averaging 11 yards with 3 touchdown passes. So overall, 567 completion percentage. Not bad for Grant. I know he did much better last season overall, so I'm expecting high numbers out of him. One of the better quarterbacks in the league. And then you had the rushing attack from the Wheeling Miners. Grant Russell went 42 yards with 4 touchdowns, averaging 3 yards. Fred Hargrove, he went 1 touchdown with 5 yards. And Charles Westbrook with a 36 yards, 5 yards average, and 8 attempts. Great receiving core. You had Isaiah Robinson, with 59 yards on 4 receptions, 1 touchdown. And Jamon Langford, 30 yards, averaging 15 with 1 touchdown as well. So pretty solid game overall. Like I said, everything we wanted out of a Monday night football game of the week, if you will. And yeah, that was a pretty quick reaction to all of the matchups in week 1. Have some pretty quick details, of course, as well. You had the players of the week, offensive QB. You had Carl Robinson for the Renegades. Defensive linebacker, or defensive player of the week, was Isaias Grandy. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. For the Colorado Spartans. And for special teams, you had Jalen Hicks for the Renegades as well, kicker. So, pretty good week 1. Had a lot of good action, some good storylines. Really excited for week 2 and what it has to hold. And yeah, if you want to follow along for more NAL action and reviews, we're going to try to do this every week and have some videos, highlights, some action shots, throw it all together, and do a little review each week for the NAL 2025 season. Alright, everybody, appreciate you. Thank you for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one.